Good morning, everyone. This is Mark Raymakers here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thank you for taking time to join us here this morning on our Single Premium Life webinar. We do these every Friday morning at 10 a.m. And so, again, I appreciate you joining us here today. These are recorded, and so what will happen is once this is completed, I will email this over to you, and then you can go ahead and review this at your leisure. So real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a number of slides here that are going to just tell you a little bit about us. I know some of you have been on here before, but I think it's important that you know what we can do for you and how we can help you as an agent advisor in the field. And so if you've seen these before, you might want to just top off your coffee real quick, come back here in just a couple minutes, and we'll be right into the heart of what we're talking about here today, which is Single Premium Life. So first thing I want to introduce to you here is our Referred Producer Program. And so I know that you all appreciate getting referrals. They can certainly be the lifeblood of your business. And for us, it's a big part of what we do. And so we thank you financially for your referrals that you send over to us. So just kind of give you a chance to think a little bit about how we can help you out. With a little bit of money for your referral. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the $50 that you get contracted. So when you send someone to us, what will happen is we're going to send you a check for $50, and then every time you write a piece of business, we're going to give you, every time they write a piece of business, we're going to put 20 basis points into a reimbursement account for you. So at the end of the quarter, we'll send you a check for that referral. And as long as you're writing business with us, you will continue to receive this particular Referred Producer Program bonus. Now, every time you write a piece of business, we have a marketing reimbursement account. So let's say you write $100,000 in Single Premium Life, $100,000 in annuities, or $20,000 in target premium. We put $200 into an account. You can use this however you like. Now, a lot of advisors, they'll use this to pay for their leads each month. They'll use this to pay for their seminars. We've got one agent, for example, who he will host an appreciation event at the end of the year, and this is thousands and thousands of dollars that he puts into this. But what you can do is spend it however you like. You send us a receipt. We will reimburse you up to 50% of that expense. So let's say you spend $1,000 in the month of October, you send us a receipt, we'll send you a check for $500. So that is our marketing reimbursement program. And I would encourage you to take advantage of that. If you're with us now and you're not doing anything like that, again, I would encourage you to go ahead and give us a call, and we'll let you know what you have in your account. Okay, so we also have a new producer bonus. So today you get contract with us, you write your first piece of business, let's say in the month of October for $100,000. We're going to give you a new producer bonus of either $750 in cash or a 2-year subscription. I'll get that word out to our website for yourself. And we can get that website for you up and running one business day. So Josh in our office can help you with that. Certainly encourage you to give him a call if that's what you're interested in. Or we'll go ahead and get you the iPad. So one of those three is an option for you. If you want to go ahead and buy into the website, you can do that, and Josh, again, can have that up and running for you in one business day. Then we have the 300,000 level. Maybe you want to wait till you get to that point. What you can do is choose the Social Security program and 3,000 piece mailing. This has been really popular. This is a way for you to get in front of more senior buyers. You can buy that or you can earn it. Then there's the $2,000 matching marketing money. So that is basically $2,000 for you to spend on whatever you want to grow your business. That's one option. Or you can do the $1,500 gift card, do whatever you want there. We've had agents do that. Maybe they spruce up their lobby, a waiting room for their clients when they come in. So that's something you can take advantage of as well. Then there's the 500,000 level. This is the 5,000 piece mailing seminar coaching with Matt Gill, or 4,000 piece mailing seminar coaching with Dave Pimper. These two do a tremendous job in seminar selling. They're both top producers with us, qualify for all the trips. So if you're interested in maybe getting into seminars, or maybe you've done them in the past, haven't been so successful, these two gentlemen can help you with that. Again, you can buy those programs if you want. You can call and ask for anyone in the annuity marketing department. They can get you information on that. Or there's the Ritz-Carlton Travel Rewards program. Just make your own getaway. Now, one of the things that we provide here, which I think is a big deal, I was an agent in the field myself, and whenever I wrote a piece of business, I had to do everything for myself. I had no help, which takes me out of the field. And so that's what we can do, is we can keep you in the field by helping you with a number of different things. Obviously, from business building tools and resources, we have everything that you could possibly imagine out there for marketing, for branding yourself. We do all the case design, so if you need help with an illustration, especially for single premium life, we don't expect you to be the expert. That's why you'd call us. We'll find the product that's going to be best suited for the client based on whatever they're driven towards. Maybe it's more of a long-term care sale, maybe it's more towards a traditional life. So we're passing on great wealth transfer. All the forms are available to you. You can call us. We get those to you immediately via email, mail, overnight, however you need that. Basically, our goal is from submission to commission. Once we get that application from you, we scrub it all, we get it ready to the carriers that day, and then we follow it all the way to the very end where you get the commission. So we basically take all that off of your hands. We're following up with the carriers for you. And again, I mentioned we do all the quotes as well. And, most everybody here in marketing has been in the field, so we understand the unique challenge that you have out there, and how time is of the essence. We want to get things out to you quickly as possible. And the paperless contract, that was a big deal too, where you can complete one document at the end of the webinar here. I can email it over to you. You can select one or all of the single premium carriers and get set up at one time. This is something that Josh's area will do, the creative marketing side. So they do everything from turnkey solutions, which would be any kind of flyer that you want, any handout, newsletters, postcards. We brand it for you, and you're ready to go. So this is really a neat deal. The agency solutions as far as a logo design. I know a lot of agents out there don't have any type of a logo, and that's really kind of neat to put that on everything that you send out. Your clients become familiar with that. If you're doing any advertising out there, whether it's billboards or newspapers or anything like that, that logo is on everything that you do, even your business cards. So we can help you develop that. And then the digital solutions real quick here. We'll do all this stuff for you as far as social media. That's a big part of what we do out there. And so Josh's team, again, can help you with that. And so give us a call at the 800 number 255-5055, and he can help you get that all set up. Okay, so let's go on here. The website. If you haven't been to our website, I would encourage you to go ahead and go out there to that. You'll see everything that you need to do businesses out there. And that would be any type of quotes for term insurance. Now, if you wanted a whole life and SPL quote, we'll do that for you here. But as far as the term quotes, those are all available to you. Any form that you would need, because we understand that obviously there's times when you're working, we may not be. I know when I was in the field, I was working until 9 o'clock at night. Well, we're not open that late, but the forms are there for you. If you need to get a contract, you want to do it that way, you can do that. Any of the product information, so as far as the life products, annuity products, those are all out there as well. So I would encourage you to check it out. It's www.imsinc.com. Okay. Something else that we've done here. I'm going to stick a quick poll out here for you on this one. So if you want to go ahead and weigh in on this super quick, then we'll keep moving on here as quickly as possible. So obviously everybody has heard about the DOL and what they've done. And, obviously this thing's got kicked down the road a little bit more. But one of the nice things here that we've done is we've set up IMS Wealth Management. So what that is basically we've set up our own RIA. We've got a broker-dealer that we work with. I will tell you right now that if you're with somebody, maybe you're not necessarily happy with some of the changes that have taken place. I know I've talked with some advisors where they've increased their fee schedule, they've dropped their commissions. So what we've done is we have set up a grid. We've set up commissions. The fees and everything we have are very competitive. In fact, I don't know that I've heard where anybody's been beating us. So if you're maybe not necessarily super happy where you're at right now, we can certainly field any calls that you have. If you're interested, mark yes. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and give you a call. We'll go through what we've got available. Maybe you're considering taking your Series 65 exam. If you are, we reimburse you for that, so we'll help cover the cost of that. But the nice thing about working with managed money is that not only are you increasing your revenue, but the other thing too is you're also improving your client retention. This offers you a wide array of products you can make available, not just life, long-term care, annuities, but now you can help them by managing funds. And if you have any friends that are out there in the property casualty business, they know that the more lines of business that they have with a client, the better the retention is. It really strengthens a relationship with your existing clients. So certainly, if you're interested, just mark yes. What we'll do is we will have them call you, and tell you what benefits and services are available and how we can help. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. This is my, I think this will be my last poll. Whoops, so I got a little bit ahead of myself there. And then we're going to jump right into the heart of the webinar here. So what we do is training every year. This is a big part of what we do. And we have generally 3 of these a year. What we do is IMS will pay for your airfare, your meals, and your lodging. We fly you into, it's basically a 3-day training. And our next one coming up is going to be the first week in November. So that first week of November, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll get you here on Wednesday. We do a few short presentations and dinner on Wednesday evening. They do a full day training on Thursday, a half a day training on Friday, get you on a plane and send you back home. So really there's no out-of-pocket expense to you at all. And so we bring speakers in from all across the country to talk to you about ways to help you to grow your life business, to help you grow your annuity business. We have some phenomenal marketing things. So I mentioned Matt Gill and Dave Pimper. They'll do their seminar presentation there for you. We have some of the top advisors in the field that'll come in and show you what they do to grow their business. And these are the type of producers that are top 5 life producers, top 5 annuity producers. So there's a lot of great stuff. This is not a product training. This is help you to grow your business type of a training. From experience, I have seen, now I've been here with the company for 8 years and we've been doing them for that long, generally 3 a year. Again, this is our last one. But what I've seen is when agents are coming in, advisors are coming in, they've been telling us now for 8 years collectively that this is the best training that they've ever seen. So the nice thing, this gives you an opportunity to come in, do this for no expense to you at all. And you'll walk away with some of the best training that you've ever had. And I would encourage you, if you're interested in this at all, maybe November doesn't work for you, but what we do is we keep the list of advisors that are interested, and the next year when we have our 3 series, 3 different ones out there, we'll email you the dates. And so I'd encourage you to mark yes if you have any interest at all. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to close this poll here in about 2 seconds because it looks like we kind of slowed down here a little bit. All right. I'm going to give this just another minute here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll down here. I appreciate the interest in that. Okay. Okay. One more thing here real quick. We have our Boulders Resort and Spa. This is an opportunity for you and your significant other to come out to join us to celebrate your success. We're going to have this in the Boulders Resort and Spa, this Scottsdale, Arizona, February 25th through the 28th. It's generally $2 million or 2 million points, probably more likely. What that means is $2 million in annuities. It's less than that for single premium life, but the point is that every single thing that you write with us goes towards this particular event. And so would love to have you out there. This is going to end on the December 31st of this year, which is the qualification period. So there's still time to qualify. I've seen agents qualify in 2 months on this. So keep that in mind. We'd love to have you out there. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the webinar here today. Here's what we're going to do. So single premium life, I'll tell you something right now. We see a lot of business coming in from annuity producers. And I think the interesting thing about this is that if you can sell annuities, then you can sell single premium life. And so I would certainly encourage you to stop and think for a second what you understand about annuities. Single premium life policies are so much like that. In fact, we do a webinar. We've even got a piece I can email out to you that shows the products side by side and how simple and how similar they are to sell. So as we go through this here this morning, I always encourage when I do these presentations as well in front of a group is to write names down as we go through this. And when we're done, we can speak one-on-one about the opportunity and how we can help you. So we're going to talk about why this is so popular. We're going to talk about some general product information because the plans have changed so much. I know when I was in the field back in '88, the first policy that I wrote was a single premium life, believe it or not, and it's so much different today compared to what it was then. So we'll go through that, give you some general ideas there, and where to find the prospects, where the opportunities lie. We'll talk just a little bit about the sales process. I'll give you some ideas on underwriting because things have changed so much in underwriting. Stop and think. Years ago when you got started in this business, you probably noticed that a person who had cancer, heart attack, whatever, was never going to get insurance again. That's not the case today. You're going to be really surprised on how broad underwriting is. And we'll just look at a couple different case scenarios, give you an idea what I'm talking about there. Okay, so let's go ahead. Why is this so popular? Well, when you look at the statistics out there today, I've seen and I've heard that up to 90% of the annuities out there today are never drawn upon for income. They're just passed on to the next generation. We all know that when you look at that, statistically, I've heard 1.4 trillion. I've even heard more than that, maybe $2 trillion in assets are going to be passed to the next generation every year. And if you look at in the next 10, 20, 30 years, that's going to keep continuing to grow as we have more and more baby boomers that are retiring. So there's a lot of money out there. And usually what happens is when those dollars are transferred over, there's a little tax hitch hung on to that. So when that beneficiary inherits those dollars, there's also going to be some taxes on there. So what we're doing is we're looking at just from the plain and simple side of it. If you look at 30 years ago, single premium life, just a simple tax-free wealth transfer. If anything, that's the most attractive thing about for a lot of seniors is that I just want to pass this on most efficiently as possible, which we do that through single premium life. I would say, though, if we look at why they're so popular today is long-term care. Let's say your client has $100,000 annuity. They put it into single premium life. They get a $200,000 benefit now, which that is all tax-free long-term care. So they accelerate those benefits for long-term care or for home health care. And so a lot of seniors today are not buying long-term care because they feel, hey, if I pay this high premium, the average cost is like $380 a month for a long-term care policy. If I don't use that money, it's all gone. With single premium life, that's not the case. Your clients are actually able to pass any unused assets to their beneficiaries tax-free. So that's a big deal. We say it's hassle-free. You know, as far as a compliance issue, depending on what you're selling. If you're selling one of those plans, and I'll go into that here in just a little bit, but if you go into these plans here, many of those use a SPL, and we're using that SPL to fund the life insurance policy, and we generally will use those when clients have funds that are coming from a qualified account or funds that have tremendous amount of growth on them, because what we want to do is we want to spread that tax out over a certain length of time so that they're not, paying all the taxes at once. So keep that in mind if you have any clients that maybe have qualified funds or a large amount of growth. That's where you might run into a situation with compliance. There's no exam. There's simplified issue. Top commissions paying up to 15% comp on these. So if you're writing annuities, you know what you're getting paid now. You're not getting 15% commission on annuity. So it's a great opportunity maybe to go back to some of those clients that you've written annuities on in the past. They're not going to live on. They're beyond the surrender period, etc. The guaranteed interest rate, we've got up to 3% that we're guaranteeing on some of these contracts today. There's tax deferral, obviously. Once you put into single premium life, your clients aren't paying taxes on those dollars sitting in a bank anymore. They're growing tax deferred for as long as they, until they need them. And there are withdrawals, free withdrawals they can take out. They can take loans out. Now, anything over and above the cost basis is taxable because if you think about it, you're creating a MEC right off the bat when you put money into a single premium life, unless it's coming from a 1035 from another life policy. Again, I mentioned new commissions on old annuities. So that's another reason why they're so popular. It's an opportunity for you there. Okay, so let's look at some general product information. Most of the carriers out there are going to issue from age 50 to 85. Some will issue from 0 to 90 depending on the company. So that really kind of opens it up. Anybody's a prospect, so to speak. We do have a carrier now that we've brought on that will issue up to age 95. So that really opens up the door for opportunity. Maximum premium is going to vary by carrier. And so a lot of them will look at the net amount at risk, so the death benefit minus the premium. What is the company at risk for? Some of them have a maximum death benefit up to $750. We also have some that'll go over $1 million. So kind of gives you an idea there as far as what we can do. And so that's why I say you don't need to be the expert. Depending on what you have for a prospect or a client, we're going to find the product that's going to be best suited for that particular prospect. Minimum premium is going to vary by carrier as well. So we have some that have a minimum face amount of $5,000. We also have some that have minimum face amount of just $5,000, whatever it takes. 5,000 face amount or 5,000 premium. We also have some at 10,000. So that's going to be the low side. We don't have any that are going to be over the top, thousands and thousands of dollars. So kind of give you some idea. Underwriting is pretty simple. Whoops, I'm sorry. Table 4 is a standard issue. So anytime you got a client that's going to get issued a contract, it's going to be table 4. So your client falls within those 4 tables. We have some carriers that will go up to a table 8. These products are non-medically underwritten. So what does that mean? There's no exam that's required. You'll see carriers that underwrite just for mortality. So if the client can qualify for life insurance, they're going to get covered. And what does that mean? That means that they'll also get the long-term care, the accelerated benefit, if they're insurable for life insurance. Some of the carriers we have will take morbidity into consideration. So they're going to underwrite morbidity and mortality. If that client does not qualify for the morbidity side of it, what'll happen is they're just not going to get covered. So there is that. Okay. All right. And benefits. This is pretty neat. Your client can put money into this contract, and they could decide that after 2 or 3 or 5 years that they just, they want their money back. Well, they can go ahead and get a full return of premium. Some of the carriers we have will do up to 5 years before they get the full premium back. Some of them will do a percentage of maybe 80% return of premium. Some will do 100% from day one. So it depends on the carriers. That's nice. Your clients, they like that because they have full control. They know that money's still theirs. It's not locked up indefinitely. Again, benefits, long-term care and home health care. We're basically accelerating that death benefit. Some of them will do a lump sum. Some will do a certain percent. Some will just take that amount of death benefit and they spread it out over 36 or 60 months, depending what the benefit is. So that's certainly attractive. Okay, free withdrawals. I mentioned that to you too. There are free withdrawals up to 10% depending on the carrier. And as I mentioned, you can transfer qualified and non-qualified plans, and that's where we utilize the SPL. Now, if you're doing a non-qualified, we generally just do a single premium deposit. So where do you find the funds? Now, I've got some different forms out here. I'm going to mention real quick. I've got what I've developed is called a senior questionnaire. This is a neat thing because what it does, it will ask some feeling questions, and usually that's where the insurance is sold, right? If there's not emotions tied to an insurance sale, it makes it a little bit more difficult to sell. So what I've done is I've created this form. It's very helpful. I can certainly email that over to you after this particular webinar. Number of different forms, of course. So qualified accounts. If you have clients out there that are sitting on qualified accounts, as you know, when they turn 70 and a half, and this is one thing I say in these different presentations that I do when we do our academies, is if you're not doing reviews with your clients, I recommend that you go and you talk to them when they turn 70 years old. If you have a CRM program, a way for you to determine those clients that are 70 years old this year, go out and see them, because this is the year they have to take their RMDs. I'm kind of tying these together. So you go out there, you can talk to them about moving those qualified accounts if they're not going to live on those. This is the time to talk about that. We can move that whole account over at one time, or maybe they're currently taking their RMDs. We can still move those as well, even though they've started taking the distribution. Kind of jumping over backwards here, the 10% free withdrawal. What we've seen a lot of times is maybe your client's got a lot of money in annuities. They'll take their 10% free withdrawal and put those into single premium life policy. Now they have those funds that they can use for long-term care. They also have maybe they're looking at maybe transferring some dollars into a single premium life to pay for the taxes on some of these accounts that they've got out there. Something I like to draw your attention to is some of these underperforming policies. There's a lot of old UL policies out there that are in trouble because they were sold back when the interest rate being credited to those accounts was a double digit. Now they're only paying about 4%. Some are less, some are a little bit more. So I always say when you're out there and you're making that delivery, or you're visiting with a client or a new prospect, ask them about those life insurance policies that they have, because chances are they're probably in trouble. So what we've been doing is we 1035 those into a single premium paid up policy. Now that they've got some guarantees, they have the long-term care, the home health care, all that good stuff. There's a lot of seniors out there too that are paying life insurance policies when they just as soon not be paying anything at all. They're retired, they want to be done with it. So we're doing the same type of deal. We're rolling those into policies, getting them paid up. Something else I notice is interesting too is that I see a lot of policies out there where maybe they've got a $20,000 policy with $15,000 in cash value. We can roll that into something as well, get them a bump in value. Even though it's a paid up policy, we get them more death benefit, and remember, we're also getting them those accelerated benefits for long-term care and home health care. Something else, of course, if you're not asking, I always say ask what your clients are holding for a balance in their checking or savings accounts. Speaking from experience, I've had clients that had $1 million when I took them over, had $1 million in their savings account or checking account. I did have one had $1 million in their checking account. I had one that had $800,000 in their savings account. So there's a lot of money out there. It's kind of funny because when I asked them why have such a high balance in those accounts, and they said because it was FDIC insured. So keep that in mind. Ask them what balances they're holding in their bank accounts. Okay, the sales process, really simple. So here's what we do. We utilize that fact-finding form. If you're not going out and seeing your senior clients, I encourage you to do that, because when you look at the statistics out there, I do another webinar where I go through the statistics of what your clients are concerned about as far as long-term care. And I will tell you right now, there are a ton of them that are concerned about long-term care. They've done nothing to protect themselves from it. And you know, if they go into a facility, it's going to cost them a lot of money out of pocket. And if they pass away there, that survivor has less assets to live on because of that cost of long-term care. They're taking out dollar for dollar from other funds that they've set aside for retirement. So, okay, let's see. I'm sorry, I had a question popped up. So, after you go through that fact finder, you're going to see the one that I created for you that I'll make available to you. This is going to show the areas of concerns, and it's going to drive towards, it's really neat because it drives towards single premium opportunities. It also uncovers opportunities for annuity sales as well as traditional life sales. Once you go through that, then what we can do is we take a look at the assets that they have that they're not living on. And that's where we want to look at taking either a portion of it. I do a webinar. Again, we do a lot of webinars in Single Premium Life on Friday mornings. We talk about taking a portion of an annuity, or we show taking the full annuity and putting it into one of these single premium contracts. And that's where I want you to give me a call or shoot me an email. What we'll do is we'll put together some different scenarios, some different illustrations on what would make sense for that particular client, whether they're thinking more of I need a lot of long-term care, or really I just want to pass this asset as efficiently as possible to my beneficiaries. So we'll put together some nice illustrations. Then we'll also include in that a marketing piece that will explain the product. We have some pieces out there as well as to explain why you want to look at utilizing a single premium policy versus leaving it sit in that account that it's in today. So we're going to provide you the stuff that you need to present to the client or prospect that makes sense. Once you complete your application, then what you'll do is you'll pick up the phone and you'll call a toll-free number. So when we email the documentation over to you with the single premium illustration in the application, there's a toll-free number on there. So this is really simple. All you're doing is doing a paper app. You call a toll-free number, you'll hand the phone over to your prospect or your client. And what happens is they'll ask them the same questions that you ask them. And the reason they do that is they want to make sure that the questions or the answers to the questions are the same, because sometimes they'll tell that phone interview a person, something that they wouldn't tell you or vice versa. So that's why we do that. And I always encourage that when you do this is that you have your client just answer the questions. Don't build a watch, just answer the questions. And once that's completed, what you can do is you can email, fax, or mail the application to us. Then what we do is we will scrub it, make sure everything is completed. The companies will get that information the same day. So it's not like you're wasting a day by providing it to us. We will get it over to the company the same day. So here's something else that's attractive is that we've got carriers out there that do a point of sale interview. So what does that mean? Once you've completed that application and you've done the phone interview, they will tell you on the spot if that client's approved. So this is probably a good example of maybe you've got a client that calls you up and says, hey, I just inherited $100,000. My brother passed away and he's named me as a beneficiary. I really don't need the money. So come over and let's talk about what we can do with it. We have a lot of situations where that happens. And once that phone interview is complete, if they say it's declined, then we've got some other avenues that we can discuss. Otherwise, there is the simplified underwriting where we're doing not necessarily a point of sale. They're all simplified underwriting. But what will happen is you do the paper app, you do the phone interview, and then you'll send it in. And the company will take some time they'll look at the application, they'll look at the phone interview, and they can, and many times they will, order an APS because maybe the client, again, we're talking table 4, right? We don't have the luxury of having the exam. So they'll go and they'll order an APS and they'll ask for medical records to see if there's something else that we need to know that might potentially decline them. Obviously, we want to get those approved. And then sometimes we'll have a situation where we're going to a table 8. So depending on what company you're working with will depend on how the underwriting plays out. So hopefully you followed me so far. It's really simple. If you're going out to an existing client, you're going to see a prospect, you're asking the questions. Maybe you've got a flow that you already use right now. Maybe you're just driving every single opportunity into an annuity. And this is where I encourage you to stop and ask that client if they really need the money or not. Because remember, they've got full control of that asset. If they put it into these plans with a return of premium, they don't have to worry about locking it up. They also have free withdrawals. They have loans. They have the accelerated benefits for long-term care or home health care. If they don't use it, it goes tax-free to beneficiaries. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to kind of build that step-by-step process for you here. It's really simple. If you're selling annuities, I promise you, you can sell single premium life. One of our top single premium sellers wrote millions of annuities every year. And I just so happened to get him on the phone one day when he was calling and asking for help with an annuity. And I asked him if he sold single premium life. He said, no, I don't sell life insurance anymore. I've been down that road, et cetera, et cetera. And I introduced him to single premium life and wrote $1.3 million in single premium life his first year. So again, if you're selling annuities, I'm telling you right now, you can sell single premium life. And I encourage you to keep that in mind when you're out there and you're sitting in front of these prospects or these clients. Go back to that last point, wait for the policy and the commissions. So that's where I told you that we see that all the way through the process. Once you submit the application to us, you're done. There's nothing else for you to do. You don't have to call the companies. You don't have to ask for an underwriter. We take care of that for you by working directly with those carriers. And so let me go through this real quick here, some of the different companies that we utilize for single premium life. Now, we've got at least a dozen different companies that we utilize. So maybe some of these companies on here you see, you recognize, maybe you have a contract with them. Maybe you haven't written business with them in the last 6 months. There's one carrier that I neglected to add to this list here. North American has come out with a new product, and I apologize to our friends at North American. They are such a great company to work with. We do a ton of business with them. If you're not with North American, not only do they have a very competitive single premium life, but they've got a tremendous portfolio of universal life, index universal life, annuities. So keep that in mind. We can certainly get you set up with them as well. So I'll have to add them to the list of carriers here. But again, I go back to a dozen different carriers. So they all have a special niche. We don't just bring on carriers because we can say, hey, we got a dozen different single premium carriers. We bring them on because they provide a unique benefit, a unique underwriting strategy, a unique product. There's always something that's special about them. And the other thing too is a lot of times, depending on what state you're in, that carrier might not be approved there or that product might not be approved there. So we bring somebody in, a carrier in, so that we have a product for you there. So keep that in mind. We've got great relationships with all these different carriers. So keep that in mind. California, I know some of you on here this morning are in California. That's a difficult state to get accelerated benefits approved in. Florida, that's another one. Guess what? We've got you covered. We've got some carriers here on the board here this morning that will provide those accelerated benefits for your clients, and the commissions are just phenomenal. So I encourage you, as you go about your business, think about those senior clients that you know that are sitting with some assets right now they're not touching. Why would we pass those to a beneficiary with a tax package that they're going to have to take care of the taxes on that particular inheritance when they die? So keep that in mind. Okay, real quick here, I've got an example of an application. This is one of our top carriers. You can see here some of the questions that they're going to ask. And this is pretty much the meat of it. Most of the carriers that have single premium life have questions similar to this. Not necessarily really difficult, but the applications are not necessarily really long. In fact, I'll tell you right now, annuity applications are as long, if not longer, than single premium life. So if you're a person that just grits their teeth and they look at the stack of forms, pages that they have to go through to complete an application on an annuity, this is no different. It's probably going to be a little bit easier for you. Some of these carriers will tell you if they mark yes to any one of these questions, don't submit the application. Here's what I say. If you're going through one of these applications, or if you've got a prospect that you're working with that tells you they have some health issues, call me or call anyone in life marketing, because just because this company doesn't necessarily have an appetite for that particular prospect, that doesn't mean that one of our other carriers doesn't. And again, as I mentioned in the previous slide, that's why we have brought on different carriers, because we know some of them are going to be a little bit more open-minded or a little bit more aggressive, however you want to say it. I know the companies don't like to use this aggressive term in underwriting, but they're willing to underwrite up to a higher table rating based on your client's health. So keep that in mind. All right, let's look at here real quick. Here's some examples of cases that we've actually gotten approved. So we've had a female, age 83. She was a type 2 diabetic on blood thinner medication, 2 blood pressure meds, 1 cholesterol med. We got that issued. We had a 78 male, had a kidney disease, type 2 diabetic on insulin with gout. Got it approved. Here's one. We had a female age 68, colon cancer 2004, edema, high blood pressure, and bone density loss. Got her issued. Some other examples. We've had clients with heart attacks after 2 years with full recovery, bypass or angioplasty after 2 years, cancer in remission after 2 years, clients with Parkinson's after 2 years and no treatment, stroke after 2 years, no treatment, clients with pacemakers after 5 years. So what does that tell you? I'm telling you, when I was back in the field, I remember anytime I had one of these, I would say, I'm sorry, I can't insure you. And how frustrating is that to sit in front of somebody and you spent 45 minutes to an hour with them, you finally get to the application and you know you can't submit the app because they're not going to get approved. That's not the case. Don't walk away from a sale because you don't think they're going to qualify for underwriting. Remember, morbidity versus mortality. The nice thing is that if we can get them insurance for life insurance, they're going to receive those long-term care home health care benefits. Some of those carriers out there that we have that do the morbidity versus mortality, Lincoln Financial has got a phenomenal long-term care product. They underwrite like that. So that's where you call us to say, hey, this is their main focus is long-term care. We're going to tell you whether or not they're going to qualify. We can call underwriters. We can get a yes or no. There will be times they'll say, based on what you told us, yeah, let's submit an application. Once it goes in, sometimes the APS tells us a completely different story than what the client tells you. So our goal is obviously to get you get your risk approved. So here's an example. This is something I want you to think about. We've seen that if a client or an agent, has $1 million in their book of business, they have no less than one client that would qualify for single premium life or would be a good candidate. So let's just stop and think. If you wrote one $100,000 case a quarter at an average of 9% commission, that's $36,000 to you that you weren't receiving before. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you're thinking, you know what, I go out when I see a client, I get all the money at one time. I've heard that before. I'll tell you right now, The most successful advisors that we work with go back and do a review, and they tell me that more times than not, when they go back out to see that existing client, they find new money. And this is where that questionnaire, that fact finders that I was talking about earlier, helps you to come across these opportunities. So if you just stop and think, if I go back and see my clients and I can find one case for $100,000 every quarter just by doing reviews, that makes your reviews very, very productive, to the tune of $36,000 in a year. I'm telling you right now, those agents that, when I was telling you, were $1.3 million a year, he not only writes annuities with us, he's writing single premium life. And he's written so far this year $1 million in premium just by going and being aware of the fact that single premium life is a good opportunity, a good product for the clients. It's through his new appointments he's having and going back and doing reviews with existing clients. And you know what? His business has actually gone up because of the fact that he's offering single premium life. He's increased his annuity sales and his single premium life sales. So I guess the way I look at this is, don't sell yourself short and don't leave money sitting on the table, because it's out there. And there's a lot of dollars, as I mentioned before, that your senior clients are not going to utilize in their lifetime. I mean, stop and think of these baby boomers that have seen what's or seen, what their parents had to go through during the Great Depression. They know to save money, and you know that some of them have done a tremendous job of saving. Now, I will tell you, I've been in this business since '88 myself, and I've seen that there's more depressed economies than others. So you might be saying, something, Mark, my clients need every dollar that they have. And you know what? I respect that and appreciate that, because I do see that. And you all know where you're at, what your situation is like, what your clients are like. But if you're in a situation to where you know that you've got clients that have done a very good job of planning with your help, they're probably sitting on some money right now that would be best suited in one of these particular products. So don't hesitate for a second to give us a call here, and we can talk through it. I did a webinar, and I got obviously questions. So if you have questions, you can type those in the question box. But I do a webinar. In fact, I have it scheduled in October, and I'm going to drive you to our website to go ahead and look out there at our webinar calendar, and you'll see. I refer to it as annuity hybridization. And what I talk about is, okay, so you've got clients out there, they've got money sitting in annuities, and maybe they're not sure. Maybe they're not sure if they're going to need the money or not. Maybe you're not sure. Right now, things are looking great. Looks like they got more than enough money that'll be coming in. So what we do is we say, okay, let's look at, I like to pick on $100,000 because there's a lot of those out there. So we look at a $100,000 annuity that's sitting out there today. Your client's not touching it. Doesn't look like they're going to need the money. So let's do this. Let's go in there and let's propose to that client that we take 50%. Let's take $50,000 out of that annuity. Let's put it in a single premium life. Let's show them how it behaves, how it's going to perform. Now, obviously, we can't guarantee the future. So the illustrations that we run are going to be based on what's happened the last 25 years, right? Okay, so we put it in there. Now they know that they've got $75,000 to $100,000 in a single premium life policy. That's the death benefit, okay? Now they got $150,000 total, right? Because we still left $50,000 annuity, $100,000 in the death benefit, okay? So now they know they have $100,000 that they can use for long-term care, all right? Let's say 10 years down the road. Now they're 75 years old. You know what? We need some money. And that annuity is not going to be enough to get us through. Well, you can 1035 a life insurance into annuity contract. So this is what we're doing. If we paint that picture for them, knowing that, hey, if you need to, you can always move that money back into an annuity. We'll set it up with an income rider, and now you've got some cash flow. So you're not losing control of that money. It's still theirs. It's an opportunity for you to help them sleep a little bit better at night, knowing that, now we've got a long-term care policy, and you know what? It's cost us absolutely nothing. All we've done is we've taken money from one pocket and we put it in the other. So that's kind of a good way to look at it. They're not losing that money. They're just repositioning it. And you know what? If they don't like taking out after a certain period of time, if they took that money out of the right pocket, put it in the left, if they don't like it in the left pocket, go put it back in the right pocket. You still have control. It's still yours. You can do whatever you want with it. So All right. With that said, obviously I'm done. So if you have any questions, you can certainly put those in the question box. I'm going to encourage you to go out to our website and or watch your emails, because we're going to email you. You probably noticed you get quite a few emails from us, but we're going to email you invitations for our webinars. But every morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, we have our single premium webinars. And we've got some new ones we're doing in October. And I would encourage you, if you can't attend one, but you want to view one, register for it. Because then what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to email that recording to you. I understand you maybe got a tea time. You just can't miss that. Or maybe you've got an appointment that they can only meet Friday mornings at 10, 10:30, whatever. That's fine. But at least gives you an opportunity to see what's going on. Now, I will tell you, after this webinar, again, it is recorded. I'm going to email this over to you so you can view it. And then I'm going to follow up with a phone call. So you can expect a call from me. I just want to visit with you, see if there's an opportunity. Maybe there's some things we can get over to you. Maybe there's a prospect or a client that you're thinking of that might be a good fit. We'll go ahead and we'll talk through that and get you out some illustrations. Okay. Well, with that said, my question box is empty. I appreciate you taking time to join me here this morning. Again, I will be following up with you here. If not today, it'll be early next week. I wish you all a great weekend. I look forward to getting some of you here that are not appointed with us, getting you contracted, and helping you get that new producer bonus in your pocket. So, all right, have yourself a great weekend. Thanks again. I'll talk with you all soon.